So this question is comparable to your 6.20 and 6.22. We just need to write the name for the following ionic compounds. So ionic compounds are between a metal with a fixed charge, there's no transitions, and a nonmetal. So remember, ionic compounds are a metal and a nonmetal compound. And the ionic nomenclature rules tell you that the metal gets to keep its name and the nonmetal ends in "ide." So you don't even have to overthink it. You just have to basically say the name of the metal. So we'll say aluminum. Aluminum. And then give the nonmetal an "ide" ending. So instead of fluorine, it's going to be fluoride. The reason we don't have to say anything like di or tri or put anything in Roman numerals, like with di and tri, we do that with our covalent bond names. And with the Roman numerals, we do that with our transition metals. The reason we don't do that with our ionic compounds is because aluminum has a fixed charge, and so does fluorine. So no matter how we combine these, it's always going to have the same fixed charge. So we don't need to know how many of each of the elements we have when we write its name, because we already know it's always going to have the same charge. So for B, calcium chloride, we don't have to write calcium dichloride because there will always be 2 chlorines to every 1 calcium. So we just name the metal calcium, and then the nonmetal ends in "ide." So instead of chlorine, we're going to do chloride. And then for C, we have sodium oxide. Pretty easy, right? Ionic nomenclature is the easiest nomenclature. For D, we have magnesium phosphide. And luckily on a test, you won't have to worry about spelling. It will be a multiple choice question. And a good way to look at multiple choice questions, let's talk about that now. So you go ahead and do E and D and F. But let's say you were just given aluminum, you were just given AlF3. And you had something like alumide, fluorine as an option. And let's say you had fluoride aluminum as an option. And let's say you had aluminum trifluoride. Alrighty, so let's say we had, I'm going to just circle this. So you had this as an option and then these 3 as an option. You know it's an ionic compound, and so you know the metal keeps its name and the nonmetal ends in "ide. You know that it's not going to have any tris, so you could just cross off trifluoride. You know that the metal comes first, so you would cross this off because the nonmetal came first. And you know the metal keeps its name, so you would cross this off because the metal changed its name. And that would just leave you with aluminum fluoride. So again, it's a trick that you can use on tests to help you just do the elimination process, and then you don't have to really think too much or get overwhelmed by all of the options.